Okay, welcome back to Mayor's Monday. I'm joined today over Zoom by Stevens Point Mayor Mike Wiza. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing very good, Liz. How are things going over there in Indiana?
Yeah, thankfully through the power of Zoom, I was able to make it to Memorial Stadium not in time for this week's game. This week's game's
Uh,
in Wisconsin, but
well, it looks like the weather's gorgeous over there, so I envy you.
yep, I mean, it seems pretty nice so far. We'll hope it stays that way and I don't end up in a snowstorm.
There you go.
But actually, speaking of snow and mentioning that, you guys got your first big snowfall of the year last week. So how are those winter street maintenance stuff coming along here as we get into the busy winter season?
Sure. So, we have an attack plan every year. We have what we call A, B, and C routes. So the A routes are our primary arteries. In our case, Business 51, Main Street, Clark Street, Michigan Avenue, those sorts of things are our main arteries. Those are the A routes. So we make sure those are cleared first. And then once those are clear, we move to the B routes, which are our arterial or feeder streets. So Fourth Avenue is a good one. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Rice, I believe, is a B route. And those are the ones that'll get you to the main area. And then, of course, everything else is a C route. But in a heavy snowstorm, people should have to drive no more than a block or two to get to a cleared street. Um, Last week's snowfall, it wasn't a terribly big deal. We don't even call out the plow trucks unless we get at least 2 inches. It was right about 2 inches. So we had the plow trucks out and we cleared. Of course, we preemptively conditioned the streets now with a brine. It's a salt-based solution, but it's applied as a liquid, and it adheres to the street a little bit better. So you put it on before the snowfall, and then the snow and ice don't stick to the street. Even if you compact it down with multiple people driving over it, it's easier to pull off of the street because you're melting it from the bottom up as well as from the top down. So it's significantly more effective, and we have significantly reduced the amount of salt that we need in any given season because we're watering it down in effect. Creating that brine, which is something that the people over at the streets department, they actually built their own mixer. So you got to hand it to those people. They're always looking for ways to save money. And I know people don't like salt on their vehicles in the winter, but the beet juice alternative, as cool as it sounds, has some seriously bad side effects, staining everything red and pink. And we thought about it and said, no, we can't do that. It's just not going to work. So, we're moving forward with that, and our street maintenance plan for winter is up on the city website. And you go to stevenspoint.com and search for winter road plan or winter maintenance, road maintenance, and you'll be able to see the whole document. But basically, that's what it comes down to: is if there's at least 2 inches of snow, we'll get the trucks out, and then those trucks are plowing on those A, B, and C routes. So if it's a heavy snowfall, we're going to plow the A routes, and by the time we're done with plowing the A routes, we're probably going to start those A routes over again if it's a heavy snow. So if you're a B or a C route, it may be a day or so before you get cleared, just based on the volume of snow. And of course, every snow event is different, so we have to adjust things on the fly sometimes. But those guys do a bang-up job. I've ridden along with them, and there's no way I could drive a snowplow. So I got to hand it to those people who do that.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a tough job out there. So I
You want to
don't
go for?
blame them.
I was going to say, you want to go for a ride sometime? If we can find a planned snowfall, I can get it set up. You can do a live remote from one of the plow trucks.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I've not done a live remote in a long time.
Yeah,
So,
well, keep it in mind.
all right, will do. And speaking of snow, generally with that first snowfall, people start thinking about the holidays and they are quickly approaching now that we're in
Hmm.
December. So what's the city of Stevens Point doing this year to celebrate the holidays since it's going to be pretty different with the pandemic going on?
Well, as part of the Stevens Point's holiday package, we're not doing any property taxes at all this year. That's just a Christmas present for everybody. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, wow, that'd be really impressive, especially
It'd
because
be really impressive to try and keep the city going with no money. But someday if I win the lottery, maybe we'll do it. We'll just cover everybody's taxes and call it a day. But one of the cool things that we're doing, so we've got Ken Rozek in our streets department. He is very passionate. I've never seen a guy with more holiday spirit than this. He loves coming in. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to the director today saying, I think Kenny would probably put up all those decorations for free if we just let him. But he's very passionate about it, and he takes that part of his job very, very seriously. He takes all of his job very seriously, but this one in particular, he really gets into it. And him and his team have put up all the decorations throughout the city. We ran a little program in October because people couldn't get out trick-or-treating. We recommended against the trick-or-treating, but we wanted to do something to allow people to show off their costumes or their kids' costumes or maybe how they decorate their house. So we did a quick social media thing where we'd allow people to post their pictures. And then I wound up sending giant candy bars to everybody who participated as kind of a Halloween treat. Well, Lindsay in our GIS department came up with a way better idea and took this thing up a couple of notches. So we're going to have a Halloween decorate or a Christmas decoration contest, holiday decoration contest, where you can submit your pictures or up to a 30-second video to photos@stevenspoint.com, and then she puts them on a map. So you can bring up that map through the stevenspoint.com website, and you'll see all of the houses that have listed as wanting to show off their decorations, along with some of the city decorations that we do. We decorate 4 or 5 trees throughout the city, and those pictures are on there along with some downtown shots, things like that. But anybody's going to be able to put their photos and or videos up here. And then if you want to take the family, get them in the minivan and drive around and see all of these, you can do it on your mobile device. We have a mobile app that you can see these on as well. And you can drive around and see all of the cool decorations that people have put up in their yards. Or if you don't want to, or you don't feel comfortable going out in public, you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So you can click on the same link, and you'll see a map of the city with all these little icons on it. You click on the icons, and you're going to see a picture or video of someone's house and the decorations that they did. And we're going to run a contest. So Wheelahan Glass was the first one to step forward, and they're going to donate a $500 Lowe's gift card to the winner. And we have a $100 Portage County gift card, and we're working on some other prizes as well. So we'll have a number of prizes. And we'll get some top vote getters, and then of course the prize team, I guess if you will, is going to, from those top vote getters, choose first, second, third, and however many prizes we have. And we're going to let this run till at least through Christmas. So probably between Christmas and New Year, we'll try and choose winners and get some pretty cool prizes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can do a whole lot more Christmas decorating with a $500
You certainly
gift
can.
card.
Right.
And you can get all the big stuff that you can only dream about.
Right. Yeah. The giant floating Santa and the sleigh with all the reindeer. A friend of mine wanted a fire truck with the Santa driving the fire truck because he's a fireman. So he wanted to try and get one of those, but apparently they're sold out and you can't find them anywhere.
Oh, wow.
So if you got any connections, you let me know. I'll pass it along to our firefighter.
I mean, I don't, but I actually think Mike may know somebody who can help with something like
He
that.
probably does.
And something else that I know you guys did last year for the holiday season was Stevens Point had some downtown ice skating rinks. Are you going to be able to do that again this year, since it is an outdoor activity and those are a little bit easier to do right now?
Right. So absolutely. We intend on putting up those ice rinks as soon as weather allows it. And generally what that is it gets cold enough at night. However, during the day, it's still getting up. I think we almost hit 40 today. So what we don't want to do is try and start making ice and then it goes away during the day. So as soon as the weather is appropriate, we will begin creation of those ice rinks, not just the one downtown, which we are absolutely going to be having again this year. And we're going to have polkas on ice again this year. We had a little polkas on ice event last year. We got some sponsorship this year. Someone called us and said, hey, I want to be part of this next year. So we got him on the list as well. We put up about 5 public ice skating rinks around town. So we have some at Iverson Park. We have some at Gerke Park. We have one at Emerson Park. And then of course the one downtown. And if there's time, we may put some up in Piffner Park, or we may find some other locations, but it takes a little bit of time to create those and maintain those, more importantly. So we expect to have those up probably not by Christmas, but soon after.
Yeah, great. Gives people something to look forward to after the holidays start wrapping up. So,
Well, and one of the nice things too, especially with the downtown rink, because of COVID, we have kind of lifted our open intoxicant ordinances during certain periods of time. So this year, if you want to come down on a Saturday afternoon, grab a mulled wine from Sunset Point Winery, or maybe a drink from Graffiti's. You can actually sit down by the skating rink and enjoy a warm beverage of your choice, whether it's alcoholic or not. And so we're looking forward to that too.
Yeah, maybe someone should bring down a video camera and see if anybody tries to skate after a drink.
There you go.
Have a good
Excuse me. Now
highlight
you're
reel
gonna,
there.
yeah, you're gonna make me choke now. Excuse me. trying to watch these people go, drink their 3-4 wines and then go out there and skate. We could make an event out of just that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And another thing with it being the end of the year and the last month, usually this is about the time that cities start wrapping up their city budget process for 2021. What does that look like so far for Stevens Point?
It looks exactly like you would expect it to look like in a 2020 COVID environment. We have revenue shortfalls because most of our public facilities were closed almost all year. We have room tax shortfalls because the hotels have been closed, events and conferences have been canceled. And then subsequently, those things that get funded by room tax, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, for example, a lot of some of the other projects that go on, some of that is funded in part through room tax donations. We have a gift or a grant fund, I guess is what we call it, a grant fund through room tax to help new events that put heads in beds. And of course, the money there is almost non-existent. So those are going to be challenges. I don't know quite where the chips are going to fall there yet, but we are in the process of trying to figure that out. Excuse me one more time. Too much talking, I think. Whole lot of lip flapping going on, and the throat is a little bit dry.
Definitely happens. I know my allergies are kind of going nuts with how much the weather's been changing, so I've been coughing and sneezing a lot more than usual too.
So what else you got going?
So I noticed that at the end of November, you announced that the city's putting together a diversity team. What is that looking like, and what do you hope to accomplish with this team?
I hope to change the world. And I think everybody on that team hopes to change the world too. But we're going to start with our little piece of the universe here in Stevens Point. I wanted something that was a little bit more expansive, had a broader reach. I didn't want to talk about just LGBTQ issues. I didn't want to talk about just racial issues, because many times issues are intertwined. For example, people of color often have different housing challenges than other people. Housing is a huge part of our community. So I want to know what issues are faced with, not only generally with housing, and this speaks to, like I said, that cross section, because we've got people representing those with disabilities who also find it challenging to find housing sometimes, and where we can collaborate on these different types of problems that different segments of our society are realizing. I'm a middle-aged white man, arguably maybe a little more than middle-aged, but my perspective has been different from yours, even, Liz. Let alone some of these other challenges where they have, low-income families, or worse, no-income families. The homeless problem in both Wausau and Stevens Point and Wisconsin Rapids is way bigger than it should be. It's still significantly smaller than what you see in Minneapolis or Milwaukee, but for a community our size, we've got a pretty significant homeless population. How can we address that? We have warming centers at night to give them a warm place to stay at night, but because of COVID, our daytime facilities have been shut down. Places that they normally would go to just to stay warm and hang out during the day are closed because of COVID, creating its own unique challenge. Where do these people go during the day? And of course, we want to address all of those topics as collaboratively as we can. So, as I said, racial issues are front and center for almost every community these days. But those racial issues can be intertwined with mental health issues, economic issues, social justice issues. So I want to get as many people as we can to the table. We're starting out with a relatively small group. I think there's 8. I know it's going to expand, but we are going to try and not only figure out what we're doing well and how we can improve on those things that we're doing well, but find out where our shortfalls are and how we can address these as a team, as a community, rather than just people of color trying to address their own issues, or people with disabilities trying to address their own issues. We're all going to help each other, because that's really what a community does. And every single person on this committee I've used as a resource in the past, and I know that their passion is going to carry on and inspire the entire group. I'm really looking forward to accomplishing some great things.
Yeah, so has that group gotten started yet or met yet, or is that coming up here soon?
We haven't met yet. We're setting a date. I want to do it before Christmas, so probably within the next 2 weeks. But as you can imagine, with 8 or 9 people on a group, we want to make sure that everybody's time needs are met. So we're going to send out probably a survey monkey or a doodle poll or something along those lines to see when we can meet for the first time. And then from there, we're going to start a baseline. So my intent is to not only introduce everybody to everybody else, but start our baseline. Let's do an evaluation of where we are and where we hope to be, and then try and prioritize those into categories. And maybe it's housing that we start with. Maybe it's social justice issues. Maybe it's equity issues that the group wants to focus on first, and then take action based on that. Lay out your game plan just like you would with any goal, and take those baby steps to affect change.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll definitely be very interesting and impactful when it gets rolling here soon.
Yeah, I expect it to. And then we'll meet probably monthly, at least. Maybe the first couple of months we meet a couple of times a month, and figure out that action plan.
Yeah. So I guess kind of the last thing, obviously, we're last month of the year coming into 2020 or 2021.
Hmm.
Excuse me. This year's just been so long. I keep on thinking it's going to drag into next year. But is there anything that citizens in Stevens Point can look forward to in the new year coming up here in 2021?
Well, I really hope, they say hindsight is 2020. I can't wait till 2020 is hindsight.
Nope.
There was nothing redeeming about this year. I mean, every cloud has a silver lining, right? But generally, the impacts of COVID-19 and some of the other things that have gone on in 2020 are going to carry with us. I can tell you from a city standpoint, financially, we're going to be dealing with this for years. The fallout from COVID and the unemployment that it creates, we're going to deal with that. Families are going to be dealing with that. Trying to make ends meet when you haven't had a paycheck in a couple of months, and the PPP has run out, or the stimulus package that's long gone. The second one doesn't seem very likely to happen anytime soon. Those impacts are going to carry forward for a very long time. And I expect 2021 to be a regrouping year. We've learned quite a bit from the pandemic and ways we can operate differently but still effectively, and in some cases more cost effectively. I talked to some businesses, restaurants in particular, that were doing a better business doing carryouts than they were with in-house seating. So I think business models are going to change a little bit. I think you're going to see sporting events or just large community gatherings change a little bit as well, because these safety protocols that we've been dealing with for the past 8-9 months are good ideas almost all the time. It's this time it's COVID-19 that was spreading, but we have flu season here in Wisconsin every single year. We don't know what strain it's going to be, and usually they aren't nearly as fatal as we've been dealing with COVID-19. But those rules are going to be carried forward as well. So I think the way we do things is going to change. People talk about the new normal. There won't be a normal. It's going to be different. It's never going to be the same. Just like we're coming up the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Things changed with Pearl Harbor that we didn't realize because we're the next generation. But we can go look back at, say, 9/11 and look at how just travel has changed since 9/11. COVID-19 is going to be one of those changing events where life is not going to be the same. There will always be some remnant of that because of this that we're going to be dealing with going forward. In some cases, it may be helpful. In some cases, it may be more of a hassle, but at least we'll understand why. And moving forward, we're all going to be in a better place, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. So, is there anything else you'd like to add or I didn't ask about?
No, I think we covered everything and then some, probably. I'm flapping my lips for quite a while here. We're into it for almost a half hour already.
Yeah. So we'll save the audience the trouble and stop there. So.
There you go.